Hey, what's up, Marshall family? Ni hao ma. Good evening to you, warriors, true believers alike. Turtle Sage here for another fun-filled episode of Combat Commentary. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the state of manhood, at least in my neck of the woods, United States of America, St. Louis, Missouri, and the power of integrity. Now, why do I bring this up? Because martial arts is what I do, right? See, high kicking, one-inch punch, swinging swords, yada yada yada. But before that, you've got to, and this dawned on me fairly recently, just from observing the world around me, and specifically men, boys, those with the XY chromosome. And look, I gotta say, a lot of folks I saw were coming up short, and that worries me. And don't take this the wrong way, but don't consider this hate speech, because like Malcolm X said, I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't love you, because I want us all to be better, because that's really what martial arts is about at the end of the day, self-cultivation. So, and the general state of manhood is, man, kind of lacking. And what I mean by that is, you got men who just lack integrity, a lot of men who don't do the right thing, and it's bad for society. And I bring up men because one of the things that I learned from my father, and salute to that man, that great man, is that the world will not forgive you for lacking integrity, for not doing the right thing, and it will punish you. And, but before we get to that, the world will also reward you when you do the right thing. For example, do things right the first time, that leads to things like, okay, when you want to do business with folks, even if you don't have the best product, if you're proven to be reliable, more often than not, people will give you their money, right? It reminds me of the scene from the movie American Gangster with Denzel Washington. Very, very good movie about the notorious crime boss, Frank Lucas. He sold heroin, right? Why do I bring this up? Well, there was a scene in there that he had with, I think it was like Omar Gooding, and he was playing the other drug dealer, Mickey Barnes. And no, I think, it was his brother, Cuba Gooding Jr. And they were selling, Frank Lucas was selling heroin straight out of Vietnam, pure heroin, Blue Magic. And he brought up the value of branding and integrity, right? The drug, as we all know, the world of drug dealing is a dirty game, but that's not the point. And even the dope fiends, they see Blue Magic, it's like Pepsi Cola. Everybody knows Pepsi Cola. It's reliable. That's their product. That's their name. And Nicky Barnes apparently in this scene tried to say that his thing, him calling his heroin Blue Magic was okay. Well, Denzel said, no, that's copyright infringement. You're giving them a faulty product, and they're going to associate that with me because I brought the product, thus I lose money. And that causes a conflict of interest between me and you. So in that world, that can have deadly consequences. I mean, obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know how that goes. People lose their lives, people go to jail, yada yada yada. Violence happens, and that's the one thing that's kind of universal with mankind. Men, it's men, when men talk to each other, when men deal with each other in any facet of the world, there's always the low-level threat of violence, right? So it's like when you lie on another man, the man can come see you. Words are exchanged. You gotta take accountability. And when you don't take accountability, bad things happen to you. Like I brought up before, you can get rich when you have integrity. You know, for example, my first seafood, Grandmaster Johnny Lee, his school has a saying, we kick with the best. Lee's White Leopard Kung Fu, right? Well, he says he kicks with the best. A lot of his high-level students are winning championships, world champions, gold medals, grand champion, you name it. So when he says that, he means it. It's the power of integrity, right? Well, that was one thing that was taught at his Kung Fu school. Like, okay, you gotta do your horse stance for X amount of time to advance in rank. You cannot hold that horse stance, you do not advance in rank. Okay, if you can't hold a horse stance, why are you testing? You gotta work on it. It's forced integrity. You're learning integrity early on, right? So now, to the other point, what happens when you don't have integrity? Okay, well, I brought up the whole Nicky Barnes, Frank Lucas bit, but I've seen real life examples. For example, I was out and about. I was doing security for folks, and well, this homeless man came up to me. I told him not to panhandle where, you know, people are doing business, right? Well, he said to me that he never learned to read and write, and he doesn't know how to make money. Okay. Well, you can make money just by offering your services, digging a ditch or mowing a lawn. That has nothing to do with not being able to read and write. And this is what was going through my mind. So I told him, sir, that is not my problem. You need to go away, go somewhere else. People do not want to be harassed while they're shopping, right? That is what happens when you lack integrity. Okay. So you can't read and write. You're using that as a crutch. You're blame yourself. Don't blame me. Okay, well, you try to make me look like the bad guy. No, I'm doing my job. I gotta eat too, right? What's stopping you from picking up that book? Maybe it sounds callous, maybe not, but it is what it is. This is the world of manhood. You as a grown man look me, another grown man, in the eye, like, you're clearly able-bodied, but you allow yourself to be helpless. And see, I talked with my friend Sam. Y'all seen him. Nice guy, Italian guy, punches me in the face a few times. Good guy, love him to death. So we had this conversation about that sort of thing. Men are born with a fire inside of us, and if that fire is not tempered and turned into a forge, it can create toxicity throughout the world. It's like when you don't have structure as a man, you start wilding, you become wolves, as he would say. Shout out to that brilliant point. This is what creates the Pookie and Ray Rays of the world. And then they call someone like me to handle the Pookie and Ray Rays, because I've shown integrity that I will show up, I will handle business, I will not cower. That's just it. So as a man, when you lack integrity, your safety comes into question, right? So I had a younger student who had an issue, you know, he was fighting dirty during sparring. And I told him once, please don't do that. And I was, respectful about it. You did it again. All right, do that one more time. You're not sitting down. I'm gonna be your opponent. I'll show you what dirty is. See, you don't play by rules, you don't do the right thing, Don't expect everyone else to play by the rules while you don't play by any rules. Because the world, they'll treat you accordingly. And guess what? There's always someone bigger, badder, meaner, more skilled, and more ruthless. Right? Okay. So, in the world of martial arts, there's that. We go to tournaments. Tournaments are there. We have a set of rules that we go by. Follow the rules. If you don't go by the rules, you get disqualified. It sucks, but hey, it is what it is, right? Follow the rules, you win within the rules, you create art within the rules, you are respected, you are revered. I've won gold medals, I've lost. I've had honest losses. I've had not so honest losses, but that wasn't my fault. Another story on that. Probably heard it already before, but it is what it is, right? So martial arts, I brought up the point about doing the horse stance. Horse stance is no matter what, no matter how painful it is, you will yourself through it. So the timer's up, you build strength in your legs, you open up your hip joints so you can kick people in the face, high kick, do whatever, right? But it's more than that. It teaches you that no matter how tough it gets, you do the right thing when you're supposed to, when no one is watching. That's true integrity. And on a side note, shout out to a brilliant young lady who I follow. I highly recommend you follow her page and do business with her, Miss Eve Henderson of the Pick Me podcast. You know, she sells a number of things from baked goods to t-shirt apparel, Black history and whatnot. Brilliant lady. I got some cookies from her last week. Very tasty. You can get vegan or dairy. I got both. And this woman was prompt with her doing business. She interacted. She was quick to respond. The product got there in a timely manner. I didn't have to blow up her spot. She blew, hey, how do you want this? How do you want that? And that's always been the case when I do business with Miss Eve Henderson. So I recommend not only do you get her goods, go watch the Pick Me podcast on YouTube, giving her a shout out. So that is the power of integrity. And when a whole society has the power of integrity, that society becomes strong. A good example of that, Japan. Japan has integrity with each other, a code of conduct. Bushido, right? So at first it's used to make war on each other, but at the same time, it gives the society something to run with, something to unite. Islam does the same thing, where a lot of religions can do that, right? But in the martial arts, you have a code of ethics, code of integrity. Without that, you're just a brute, just a killer. Killer masters a weapon, warrior masters themselves. And again, when you have integrity, you don't just get money, but you get respect. You get people that trust you. You build trust. And as a man, if you don't have that, you're not safe. I had one guy who shall remain nameless. I don't bring up any names. All names, people are protected or whatever. His son, trouble getting things done as far as learning how to drive. Well, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, and I learned this from my dad, and I learned this from life. If you really want something, you will make it happen as a man. You will produce. Like, for example, I love video games. PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. To get at that Xbox, I know what I gotta do. To get at that PlayStation, I gotta go to work, I gotta go make money, I gotta handle my other business first. I gotta have integrity and have gumption to get at it. And that leads to discipline. And repetition is the mother of discipline, right? So before I can even get at that, I gotta have money. I don't want to go to my mom and dad for money. I'm a grown man. I'm 38. Kind of look mad weak to do that, right? So, okay, I handle my business. I go to work, show up, teach class, do the law enforcement thing, get this money, be reliable. I'm reliable. Person who sells the Xbox or the PS4 at Best Buy, reliable. They get money, I get money. This is how an economy is created. Your martial arts teacher shows up, teaches you, you practice. They practice. You learn technique, you get good at that technique. You show integrity. And because you show integrity, you're better than most. Martial arts is a pathway to refining integrity. For men, it is a pathway to manhood because you got to show up. When you're in that ring, it's only you. You have enough integrity to follow the rules and defeat and get the better of your opponent by following those rules. That's the power of integrity. You get respect. Muhammad Ali got respect. They said, well, he's a loudmouth. Well, he backed up what he said. That's the power of integrity. Now he's known as the GOAT. Bruce Lee never backed down from a challenge. He's on tape. He's on camera. Trained by Ip Man. Same thing. This is what makes up the martial world. And I beg, you know what? From a solution standpoint, I can't change the world without changing myself. So this is why I always have the mantra for a lot of my videos, for example. Show and prove, right? Show and prove. Like, okay, I'm going to use Kung Fu in one of my sparring videos. So you see that. You like, share, and subscribe, right? Well, if I wasn't doing that, if I was just saying Kung Fu is such and such as this without backing it up, that's a lack of integrity, to me at least, and maybe to you, because I wouldn't have that many subscribers. But that's neither here nor there. So really, all I can work on is me. All you can work on is you. And with that, I hope you like what you saw. If you like what you hear, if you don't like what you hear, let me know in the comments. We can discuss this like civilized folks. Like, share, and subscribe. And with that said, Sai Chen, goodbye, good night, Eternal Sage, signing off.